bullish or bearish. Whether you're a rookie trader or a rock star, we believe there's room for everyone. Every Filipino can learn how to trade. We're just your average Joe. But together, let's take advantage of the greatest equalizer of wealth ever, the stock market, where millions can be made and lost in a click of a finger. The journey to trading mastery is a lifetime, and we're here to stay. We are ZFT, and this is where the hot money is.
Ayan, so good evening guys and welcome to episode 31 of Ask ZFT Podcast. This is your host, Sir Cosmos. So yung pag-uusapan natin tonight is um, a common situation that most traders experience, especially yung mga graduate ng mga ZFT courses. Okay? So yung question na to, this is actually contributed by someone inside PR. So kaka-graduate niya lang if I'm not mistaken sa CRV program, yung cryptocurrency trader program natin inside ZFT. So si Ma'am Jessa. Yan, ewan ko kung nandito si Ma'am Jessa pero parang wala ata. Okay, so ito yung ano niya, no? Ito yung question niya. Flash ko lang sa screen natin. Okay. Ayan. So, si Ma'am Jessa May Gagumpay. Ito yung pinost niya dito sa idea note natin. So, i-promote ko lang ulit guys ha. Sa mga gustong magtanong ng mga possible na pwedeng pag-usapan or i-discuss during the Ask ZFT podcast, you can go to this link sa idea note natin. Nasa Ask ZFT channel din to siya. So, ayan, kung may mga gusto kayong pag-usapan, dito nyo siya i-post. Alright, so basahin natin yung question niya. Best practices after courses. Ayan. So, I am a bootcamp graduate and after graduation, my question was, what's next? Ayan. What should I do next? I feel that I need a step-by-step process on the things that I should do to be able to apply the things that I've learned, but wasn't sure on the right next step. Okay. As I want to do the process the right way, ano po ba yung mga best practices ng ibang successful graduates ng mga ZFT program? Okay. I-mute ko lang yung Discord. Medyo maingay. Okay. So can you give us your suggestion po like 5 or 10 things to do after graduating in TI, TIT, CRV, or MC? So ayan, sa mga nandito ngayon, do you have the same, did you feel the same thing after graduating from any of the CFT course? So if you felt the same thing, you can, pwede ata kayo mag-react, no? So you can either thumbs up or heart or I don't know, just react if you felt the same way as Ma'am Jessa did. So ako kasi no, sa mga hindi nakakaalam, I did not go through any of the formal courses of ZFT. So parang yung nangyari sa akin is more of a self-learning approach. Tapos ayun, I was taken inside the tribe after parang yung ginawa ko kasi nagpabibo lang ako sa community, sa trading community natin. Ayan, tapos parang napansin ako ni Boss T and the rest was history. So, parang ganun yung naging experience ko. So, with regards to yung what I felt after learning about the ZFT system, hindi ako masyado parang nakaka-relate with this kasi even before I learned the ZFT system, meron na akong parang clear set of objectives as to how I would approach my learning process. Okay, so parang ganun. So, nakalatag na siya sa mind ko na, okay, step 1, I need to watch YouTube videos about technical analysis. And then step 2, I need to fund my account, etc., etc. So, I'm not sure if that's the same thing for many of you guys. Pero I think that's the main problem sometimes of traders when they enroll in trading courses. Kasi, ang nangyayari is they think na it's the end game. Okay? Or it's the only thing that is lacking in their approach as traders. For example, many of the students who enroll in ZFT programs, ang expectation nila is once they enroll and once they know about the ZFT system, yun na yun. Kumbaga wala na silang kailangang gawin after that. Okay? And I know maybe some of you had the same expectations and siguro ngayon parang yung expectation na ganun, kung meron man kayong ganun before, it's completely eradicated. Kasi what you will realize along the way is yung ZFT system, it's more of an it's more of a proper introduction to what trading really is. Correct me if I'm wrong, pero that's how I think about it. So parang any person, any student na hindi pa alam yung ZFT system or any other trading system out there, they think na they know something or they think na they're doing the right thing and they have the right approach in the markets. Pero once they enroll in a formal course that is being taught by mentors and traders na matagal na sa market, doon lang nila ma-realize na all this time pala, most of the things, if not all, na pinagagawa niya is mali. Okay? So, maybe that's the first thing that we need to address now. When you enroll in trading programs or courses, it's not a plug and play type of approach na tipong pag naturuan ka na ng MAs, RSI, Fibonacci, all you need to do is what you learned, ipa-plug mo na lang siya sa sa sarili mo or sa trading system mo and that's it. Okay ka na. Because that's not really the case. Okay? So what I've mentioned a while ago is, ayun nga, no, it's more of an proper, appropriate introduction to the world of trading. So, it's because of that expectation kaya people feel lost or people ask this question like, where do I go from here? Okay? Kasi isipin mo if your expectation when enrolling in a course is more of ano lang siya, parang it's a means for you to kickstart or to somewhat trigger the right path to your trading journey, kung ganun yung approach mo, I don't think you would have the question of where do I go from here. Kasi alam mo parang naset mo na sa sarili mo na ito lang yung parang pintuan na kailangan kong pasukin and once I'm inside, then mas magiging clear sa akin kung ano yung path, okay, or saan ako pupunta. Okay, gets ba yun, guys? So, yun, you need to address that kind of expectation and this is not exclusive to those na kakagraduate lang sa TI or sa TIP or sa ibang courses ng ZFT. It's even a common scenario or a common state to be in even if matagal ka nang graduate from any of the trading programs that are being offered inside PR. Diba? Kasi kunwari, nakikinig ka sa mga FGD ni Sir Ken or sa mga webinars ni Sir Alpha. You know the ZFT system, right? And you have access to all this information and all these webinars. But at the back of your mind, meron pa ring mga questions. And minsan nga, di ba, tulad ng sabi ko sa post ko, sometimes knowing more about what trading really is unlocks more questions along the way. So parang nagkakaroon siya ng parang chain reaction na yes, nalaman mo na kung paano gamitin yung MAs. Pero now that you know how to use the moving averages, the next question there is, okay, so how do I use this para mabigyan ako ng edge? Right? Or now you know how to use VAR. Okay, alam ko na yung VAR. I know how to do my position sizing. How do I do my tranching? Kasi yung position sizing, sometimes it's being discussed as just a single tranche, right? So how do I do multiple tranches while applying the value at risk concept? So unlocking answers lead to more questions. Okay? That's quite common when it comes to our learning process. Okay, so yung ibibigay ko lang tonight are practical tips on how to deal with these things, these questions, yung tinatawag nating post-course afterthoughts, para instead of causing more confusion or mas hindi nyo alam kung ano yung gagawin nyo, mas mabibigyan tayo ng daan. Okay? Mas mabibigyan ng direksyon. So, the first thing that I would like to discuss, guys, is ito. I'm sure this is a very common advice that you would find inside PR. So ang assumption dito is natanggal mo na yung expectation na the ZFT system is a plug and play system na hindi mo na kailangang bigyan pa ng additional learning after you know it or after you learned about it. So let's assume na that's already outside the window. So once na-set mo na okay, alam ko na yung ZFT system, this is my proper introduction to the world of trading. The first thing that you need to do is really to find an accountability group or partner. This is precisely the reason why yung yung AG system natin inside TR is something that everyone takes very seriously, especially the mentors, coaches, and the trading leaders. Kung para sa inyo, parang tinitingnan nyo siya as just alam mo yon, parang mandatory hassle lang na, di ba yan? Ba't kailangan ko pa ng AG? Pwede naman na ako na lang, di ba? Pwede naman na parang self-learning na lang. Well, I would understand that kasi ako honestly, I'm that kind of person, no? Parang hindi ako masyado, I mean, I'm social, but I'm not used to working inside a group. Kaya nga hindi ako napunta sa any corporate job or yung typical office setup kasi hindi ko kaya mag-function ng mabuti sa ganun. Okay? But that's outside of trading. When it comes to trading, yung AG mo or yung kunwari ayaw mo ng AG, gusto mo kayo lang, diba? One-on-one. Ano ba yung may mga ganun? For sure, may mga ganun inside PR. Kung alam man namin or hindi nyo dinidisclose, nasa sa inyo na yan, ha? Pero regardless, no, if it's a group or a one-on-one partnership, the purpose of that is not just for you to have someone to talk to when it comes to your trading concerns. It's really more about a check and balance. So if you have an AG and you don't do check and balances, kumbaga yung parang ginagawa nyo lang is, well, you just meet weekly, talk about your trades, tapos mag-charting kayo, and then after that, wala na. I don't think that's an effective AG. Okay, and this is coming from me na guilty of that. Okay, kasi honestly, again, I'm not a very open person. Siguro yung ganun lang talaga yung nakasanayan ko. But for the starting trader, okay, nakakatapos lang ng course niya sa ZFT, any of the ZFT programs, this is something that you need to do. Kasi it's very risky, and I would say na the riskiest point of a trader is when alam na niya kung ano yung trading, ano yung tamang system. Okay, once nandun na siya sa state na yun, it's quite risky kasi yun yung kumbaga parang crossroads niya. Either magiging consistently profitable trader siya kasi doon yung road, okay, doon siya malilihis. Or ang ending is dahil sobrang dami niya ng alam, it would cause him or her to do self-sabotage. Marami na akong alam. So okay na to. Hindi na ako hindi na ako tawag yan, mag-i-invest pa in additional learning or maybe talk to people. Kasi alam ko na gumastos na ako Mahal-mahal kayo ng TI. Diba? So, it's a sensitive state to be in. And for us to offset that risk, you need someone, not just someone na parang kilala mo lang or pwede mong maging ka-close, but someone who can really check on you, not just in your trading progress, but in your state as a person, if that makes sense. If you don't have that someone, and I know this can be quite difficult, especially for guys, kasi tayo mga lalaki, hindi tayo masyadong open to that, right? Kaya believe ako sa mga AG na puro babae sila. Kasi makikita mo talaga like, apart from trading, meron talagang bond. Diba? Tama ba mga ladies? Like, yung mga AG nyo, parang, you don't just create the AG for the sake of just talking about trading. Parang yun na talaga yung parang nagiging inner circle nyo inside PR where you share secrets and all of those stuff that girls share to each other. So, may ganon. Pero sa amin mga guys, it's not the case, right? Okay, but the point of the matter is, The point of the matter is this. Kailangan mo ng check and balance kasi anything na gagawin mo from that point on, now that you know the system, can make or break you. Okay? It would be ideal if yung ka-AG mo is not just composed of people na nakasabay mo sa nakasabay mo sa pag-graduate ng course. Mas ideal siguro na inside that AG is may nauna or someone who has more experience than the other people inside. Or pwede nga, 'di ba, ang for me, ang ideal setup is iba't ibang batches talaga. Okay, why is that the case? Kasi I believe na for someone to be effective inside a group, kung pare-pareho lang sila lahat ng state of learning or sa learning curve nila, how do they do the check and balance if that's the case? Okay, that's just me. I'm not sure if you agree with that. So, if that's possible. Pero again, hindi naman natin talagang mahanapan ng paraan na 100% all ages have a certain person na may ganitong experience and then may baguhan. So, yung tinatawag nating mix of people, ang important lang siguro is yung intent behind the people inside the AG. Ang dapat na maging goal nila as a group is, ayun, yung sinasabi ko na check and balance. And other than that, they need to, well, from the word itself, accountability, they need to be accountable to each other. They need to not be afraid to point mistakes, errors, kung sa trading man yan or outside trading, para hindi mapabayaan yung kapwa member nila. Okay? So, di ba, parang kakaiba kasi for me, kung ako lang yung masusunod, that's the first thing that you need to do after graduating from any course inside ZFT. And swerte tayo kasi sa sistema ng TR, this is actually a requirement. So siguro yung gusto ko lang sabihin is I want you guys to treasure this part of TR, yung sistema na to, kasi this is really a game changer. And kung hindi man kayo parang aware of like other trading groups, sa pagkakaalam ko parang this model of creating accountability groups is something that is being replicated now outside of ZFT. And we don't know why, but I don't know, siguro kasi nakita nila na it's effective here, then maybe it can be effective to them as well. So yun, this is a game changer. That's number 1. Okay, number 2. Ito, this is again, common sense na lang to eh. So once you know about the ZFT system, you need to have that drive to expand on what you know through additional research. So ako guys, kung meron akong parang natututunan na bago, the first thing that I do is go to the internet and search what the hell is this thing all about. So I'm a fan of yung learning by example and learning through what other people know about the concept. Kaya masabi ko na naging mabilis yung learning curve ko. Kasi every time na may gusto akong matutunan, what I do is I go to the internet and I just consume any material na makita ko na, syempre, hindi lang any material, but material na pasok dun sa criteria ko as someone who wants to learn that particular concept. So I filter through all the references and tinitingnan ko sila each, trying to skim through them one by one. And then from the list of references, syempre internet yan, sobrang dami, di ba? I pick top 3 or top 5. Tapos yun yung i-consume ko maybe for a week or maybe for a month. Depende na lang kung kaya ng oras ko. Okay? Now, what's there to consume more? Like, if you learn about the ZFT system, kunwari TI graduate ka, hindi ba parang nandun na yung lahat? Kasi it's the whole system of technicals that ZFT is using, right? Pero ako, I don't think na parang, eto this is not to put down the courses that ZFT offers, but for me, it's not everything. Okay? Kasi if we are to teach everything in these courses, 2 weeks, 1 month, even 3 months, it won't be enough to really lay down everything in one go. So, yung approach kasi namin, and ako din, personal approach ko when teaching something is lay the right foundations. Once the student has the right foundations, siya na mismo ang maghahanap kung paano niya i-build up yung other concepts on top of that foundation. Okay? So, it's true in my experience as a teacher, and I think it's also true for you guys as students of different ZFT programs. So, if you believe that the ZFT system is a good foundation to build your own personal system, then the first thing, or well, the second thing that you need to do is to add and deduct from that system hanggang sa masabi mo na it's your personal system already. Okay. Sa mga TIP students dyan, remember yung, di ba, yung sa first module natin, the first thing that we talk about is how to understand your edge. Okay, ano ba yung composition ng edge mo? So you have the quantitative, qualitative edge, and all of this sub concepts under those two categories. And each of those categories, meron silang parang different elements din. So for example, if you have the ZFT system, that is technically your mathematical edge because it's all about technicals, right? But that's not enough for you to be consistently profitable. Tama ba? You need to build on top of that. Now, yung iba, ang parang nagiging concern nila is they don't know how to build on top of that. And the problem with that is it's not that they don't know. It's just that they think na trading systems are supposed to be taken as is. Okay? Kung ano na yan, yun na yun. Wala ka nang dapat idagdag or ibawas dyan. But that's not really the case. Okay? It's not the case. So, do know guys, no, as traders, yung edge nyo is something that is unique to you. Okay? When we say unique, it means ikaw lang yung may ganyang klaseng edge. And even if you all use the same system, the same ZFT system, your results will be different, your profiles will be different, and even your indicators will be different along the way. So kunwari ako, 'di ba? Personally, hindi na purely ZFT system yung ginagamit ko because in my journey as a trader and the more I execute on my trades, napapansin ko na there are certain variables or certain elements na pwede kong idagdag or pwede kong ibawas doon sa foundation ng ZFT system para mas maging effective yung trading approach ko. Okay? So, I don't know about you guys, if it's effective sa inyo to trade just the ZFT system alone, then go ahead. Okay lang yun. Kasi gumagana naman sa'yo. Pero chances are, siguro masabi ko mga 8 out of 10 people will find out na they need to do something more sa system na tinuro sa kanila para mas maging fit sa self nila. Because again, you are a unique trader, you are a unique participant in the market. Take for example, yung mga crypto traders natin inside ZF. Diba? Ayan, sina Mariel, sina Sir Mikkel, even si Boss Z, diba? Very active siya sa Cryptoverse now. Notice na yung approach nila, it's no longer purely ZFT system. Meron na siyang mga personal touches along the way. So, dati kasi, no, parang this is something that is being frowned upon. Hindi ko din alam kung bakit. Parang kung yan na daw yung system, wag mo nang baguhin kasi it's working naman eh. Bakit ka pa magdagdag bawas dyan? Pero I don't think na it's still true to this day kasi the market is now becoming very, very dynamic. Okay, what could be an edge today may no longer be an edge in the next few months or in the next few years. So you need to be very dynamic when it comes to your trading approach. Okay? Siyempre part niyan guys is Yung pag tinatawag nating additional research, this is not just about researching about external references, yung mga nasa internet, ganyan. Not about that. It's also about backtesting. Okay? So, ayan, yung kay Ma'am Jessa, wala siya dito, pero if mapapakinggan mo yung recording na to. Graduate ka sa ano, 'di ba? Sa cryptocurrency course. So, kung ano man yung mga naturo diyan, ma'am, you need to backtest those concepts. Okay? I know it's a little bit of a hassle for some. Kasi 'di ba, parang kaya nga ako nag-enroll sa course eh. Kasi para hindi na ako mag-backtest. Kasi yan na yun eh, yan na yung system, yan na yung setup. So, gusto mong i-execute na lang and kumita ka na agad ng pera. Ganun yung typical expectation natin. But the thing with that is, even if it's an effective system, it's very difficult to follow a process out of blind faith. Tama ba? Yung tipong pag kunwari sinabi ko sa'yo, kunwari kay Erica, sinabi ko kay Erica, Erica, i-trade mo to. Pag ganito yung setup, RSI 70, tapos nagko-consolidate siya at the highs, tapos yung MAs is AOTS. Kung nakakita ka ng ganyan, bilhin mo yung breakout. Okay? Tapos magtatanong si Erica, bakit sir? Bakit ko bibili? Basta bilhin mo lang kasi effective yan sa akin. So kung effective yan sa akin, dapat effective din yan sa'yo. Right? So, even if si Boss Z or si Sir Alpha na mismo yung magsasabi sa inyo na i-trade mo to ha, kasi ito yung tine-trade namin sa system namin. So, dapat i-trade mo din siya pag sa buy na to, sa cut loss na to, sa target price na to. At the back of your mind, you would still hesitate. Or siguro hindi lang hesitation, talagang hindi mo siya ma-execute. Bakit? Bakit kaya ganun, no? Nagbayad ka na, sobrang laki ng investment mo sa learning, tapos yung mga mentors, mga seasoned mentors to. But still, you hesitate. Why? Because you don't see it at work. Or hindi mo nakita kung gaano siya ka-effective. And it is only through that para masabi mo sa sarili mo na kailangan ko tong execute. Kasi ikaw na mismo nakakita na effective siya. Okay? So, I won't be able to discuss the step-by-step of backtesting, no? Kasi hindi tayo, kakapusin tayo sa oras. But if there's one thing that you should do after graduating from any of our courses, that is probably one of the most important things. Okay? Buti na lang, inside TR, meron tayong backtesting group, okay, headed by Sir Jet. So sa mga wala pang ano dyan, experience when it comes to backtesting, maybe this is the right time for you to join any of the groups. Tapos, sumama kayo. Any setup. Actually, hindi magmamatter kung anong setup yung iba backtest nyo. Kasi it's not about the setup. It's about the process of doing it. Alam yan ng mga TIP students natin, di ba? Kasi dumaan kayo from manual to automated. You know the eureka moment that you feel when you have a certain trade idea or setup na gusto mong malaman kung effective or not, na tinuro sa'yo sa TI or tinuro sa'yo elsewhere, tapos nakita mo siya in theory or in paper na effective siya. Tapos i-execute mo siya in real market, which we call forward testing, by the way. Diba? Yung whole process na yun, even if sabihin natin na parang hindi mo din siya, kunwari parang na-realize mo, hindi pala effective yung setup. So dumaan ka 1 month of doing backtesting only to find out na hindi pala siya effective. Diba? Even if hindi siya effective, the process itself will teach you so many things. Okay? So, yun, that's number 2 for me. And last but definitely not least, execute. A lot of people are parang na-confine sila in terms of theory. And I can absolutely relate to that kasi in the past, that's one of my biggest problems. Okay? I'm very quick to learn things, to learn about the process of trading, but in terms of execution, parang, I don't know, I hesitate. Kasi iniisip ko na, bago ako mag-execute, gusto ko muna marami akong alam about sa kanya. So, if you graduated from any of the ZFT courses, and then you felt na marami ka pa palang hindi alam. Kasi yung ZFT pala, it's the foundation. You need to build on top of it so many things para mas ma-fit siya sa personality mo. So because of that, parang natatakot ka mag-execute. Kasi ayaw mong, ito yung pinaka common mistake ng mga traders. They don't want to commit a mistake. Okay? Parang medyo ironic pakinggan, no? So yung common mistake ng mga traders, especially those who enrolled in different courses, is they don't want to commit a mistake. When in reality, guys, the fastest way to learn something is to commit mistakes. Do you agree with that? Yung tipong parang hanggat hindi mo siya talaga ma-experience ng ikaw, hindi mo din talaga siya matututunan. Di ba? Parang yung sinasabi ni Ken na kahit sabihin namin sa'yo na wag mo yung gawin, gagawin at gagawin mo pa rin yan. Kahit sinabi namin wag kang mag-all-in, wag kang umawak ng more than 10 open positions na puro 1% VAR ang risk. But even if we say those things, if you feel or if you think na okay lang, gagawin at gagawin mo pa rin yan. Not until the market will slap you with the reality of what you're doing, doon ka lang matatauhan. Pero at least natauhan ka, di ba? Well, maybe you lost a lot of money along the way, but at least natuto ka. And that is something that you guys also need to put into consideration. Kasi often we play it safe too much. Ako, very guilty ako of this. Kasi gusto ko like, I don't want to be that ignorant trader na nasa market ako tapos hindi ko alam kung ano yung ginagawa ko and because of that, I'm losing money. Parang hindi kaya ng ego ko yung ganun. But what I realized, no, yung ganung approach ko, it helped me at first, pero eventually, nagba-backfire na siya sa akin. Kasi it came to a point na sobrang dami ko nang alam, setups and all this stuff. But I still feel na it's not enough. Alam niyo yung ganun? Na yung alam mo, it's more than enough for you to be consistently profitable. Pero para sa'yo, hindi pa rin siya enough. Kaya ano ka pa rin, parang half-baked ka pa rin when it comes to your execution. That's a real problem. And for me, that was a real problem. And it is still a problem to me even up to this point. Okay? So, sa sarili ko kasi parang it's always that kumbaga kailangan ko siyang always kailangan ko siyang i-console sa self ko every time na I'm called to execute. Kasi there's always this voice inside my head na parang baka may hindi ka pa alam. So wag muna i-execute. Diba? Parang sa NFTs. Yan, perfect example. Alam niyo ba guys, as far back as February or March, alam ko na yung Axie. Alam ko na may NFT. I know how it works. Okay, but being me, I don't usually take the jump until I figure out everything about it. Okay? So in hindsight, parang syempre, naisip ko na, no, sayang, sana as far back as February, March, parang nag-execute na ako on this. And what I mean by execution is, hindi na ako nag-settle sa parang alamin ko lang muna talaga siya, play it safe and make sure na hindi siya scam and all of this play safe moves, di ba? Okay lang naman yun. Pero when it comes to these opportunities, it's really all about taking the first jump and learning along the way. May naalala kong magandang quote. Wait, ayaw kong i-butcher yung quote na yun. So I want to quote it the way it was quoted. Anyway, while I'm searching for the quote, execution, guys, is the best way to learn and to grow. O, yan yung talagang masabi ko sa inyo. Even if that's also my problem. No trader out there will tell you na kailangan first 6 months ang gawin mo lang is manood ka lang ng YouTube about trading or mag-backtest ka lang. Kung meron mang trader or mentor or coach na gano'n yung sinasabi sa inyo or gano'n yung sasabihin sa inyo, screw that person. Okay? Kasi that would, kumbaga, it would delay your learning curve by so much. And ewan ko kung napapansin nyo, yung mga traders na inside TR, okay? Wag na kayong tumingin sa labas. Just look at the traders inside TR. Notice na yung mga sobrang bilis ng learning curve. If you all put them in one room, ano yung mapapansin mo na common sa kanila? Kasi in terms of approach, iba-iba sila. In terms of personality, iba-iba sila. Pero ano yung common sa kanila? They are all risk takers. They are all not afraid of execution. And they are not afraid of making mistakes, even if those mistakes can be costly. And I'm not glorifying the idea of making mistakes in trading. I'm just saying na sometimes that is what's necessary for you to learn it faster than anyone else out there. Okay? Ngayon nakita ko na yung quote. So maybe I can end with this. This is a very good one-liner statement for everyone. So pakinggan nyo tong quote na to, guys. Lagay natin sa PowerPoint para maging memorable. Ngayon ko lang ulit naalala yung quote. It was one of my favorite quotes. Doon dati nag-aaral pa ako ng college. Parang sobrang game changer na to sa akin. Ayan. Lagay natin yung pangalan. Okay. Ganda. Okay. Ito yung quote, guys. Tama nandito, basahin natin ng sabay. Okay. So, ang may sabi nito is si Kurt Vonnegut. Ano ba? Or Vonnegut. We have to continually be jumping off cliffs and developing our wings on the way down. There's a more romantic version of this. I think ako yung parang ni-repackage ko yung quote. Parang ang sabi ko is, I've jumped off cliffs all of my life and building my wings on the way down. Ewan ko, mas maganda pa rin ata to. Anyway, the point of this quotation is, ano to, no? When you are in the road of being a consistently profitable trader, and I think all of us are in that road. Sometimes sometimes yung parang gusto natin is parang ma-figure out natin muna lahat bago natin siya gawin. Okay? Kaya, ayun nga, no, dahil kakatapos mo lang ng ZFT course, parang feeling mo ang dami mo palang hindi alam. And it becomes, instead na makatulong siya na parang mas mabigyan ka ng confidence na dahil alam mo na yung ZFT system, parang mas nagkukos pa siya ng doubt sa self mo. Okay? Mas bumababa pa yung confidence mo lalo. Kasi parang na-realize mo lang na all this time, mali pala yung ginagawa mo. And now that you know the right thing, so parang you're wondering, ano pa yung hindi ko alam? Okay? Okay lang yung ganun, but never forget na you can always jump and take the leap of faith and build along the way. And I think that's the most effective way of learning about trading. Kasi it's a lifelong journey. Diba? Lagi nilang sinasabi na you will never be able to figure out the markets 100%. Every day is going to be a learning experience. So, what's the point of parang playing it safe too much, diba? Or what's the point of settling with just what you know about the ZFT system? Why not? Ang gawin natin is, once you know that, build on top of it, explore, and don't be afraid to execute. So, yun, I think that's really something na you need to be reminded of every day, especially as aspiring traders. Okay? So, sige, do you have questions about our topic tonight? Kasi yun lang yung gusto kong i-share about this concept of where do I go from here. So thank you again to Ma'am Jessa for contributing to the question. Okay, so before we end, any questions that you would like to
Sir,
raise?
question.
Ayan, sige, go.
Ano sir, regarding doon sa exploration, so ano ba yung parang suggested time frame na gaano ba katagal? Gaano ka ba katagal mag-explore ganyan? Most likely kasi syempre iba-iba tayo kung
Hmm.
gaano katagal. Pero yung advisable time frame na ano, yung kailangan nating i-consider kasi baka sobrang natatagalan tayo, parang ganon.
Wait,
Sobrang grabe yung
may
time na binibigay
may
natin.
question ako sa iyo. Ano ba yung pagkakaintindi mo sa exploration? Like parang yung mag-ano ka muna, mag-experiment ka muna, ganun? Or how do you understand the concept?
More on kasi siya, more on experimenting yung regarding doon sa system and yourself as well.
Okay. Kasi ako ang belief ko diyan, ano siya eh, parang wala siyang parang time frame na kailangan mong sundin. Kasi hindi ibig sabihin na parang pagtapos ka na mag-explore, yun na yun. Like, okay ka na for the rest of your life as a trader. Hindi siya ganun eh. Pwede yung mag-explore ka now, tapos naging effective siya. So, okay. Tapos na yung exploration, execute ka na lang, and now you're reaping profits from the market. And then biglang, boom, one day, na-realize mo, tinitingnan mo yung journal mo, parang based sa sample size, parang nagbago na yung market. Kailangan kong mag-explore ulit. Gets mo? Or maybe for some traders, parang every day until sa last day nila as a trader, parang it's always going to be sort of quote-unquote exploration. Kasi pag sinabi ko, kunwari, parang advisable time na, dapat 3 months ka lang mag-explore ha, after that, parang okay ka na dapat. Or I'll give a range, like, dapat within 1 year, figure out mo na yan. Tapos next year, more on focus ka na dun sa ano yung na-figure out mo and just execute on that. Baka hindi siya magiging magandang template for people here. Kasi for one, pwedeng hindi yun applicable yung ganong concept sa inyo kasi everyday yung exploration stage nyo. And for some naman na parang mafi-figure out nila like in just a week or maybe in just a month, there will still come a time na kailangan mo siyang gawin ulit. Okay? Gets mo ba?
Yes, sir. So, parang mas okay bang sabihin na more on goal specific
Yan,
yung
pwede. Oo.
exploration mo?
Or hindi lang goal specific. If you want to be really technical about it, KPIs. Okay? When we say KPIs, diba sa business,
Okay.
key performance indicator. So, how do you know based sa KPIs mo na parang tapos ka na doon sa kung ano man yung in-explore mo na yun? Right? Maybe that KPI is once you achieve, let's say, consistent monthly average na lang. Not necessarily na every month mo siya ma-achieve, but let's say ang monthly average mo na is nasa mga 8% portfolio growth ka na per month. So maybe that's your KPI na okay. So I'm done with exploration. Kung ano man yung na-figure out ko dito, this is effective sa akin. So I'll just execute on this. Okay, so parang ganun.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, good question. Yan, meron pa ba mga follow-up questions? Anything related to our topic tonight? Yan, huwag kayong mag-hesitate. Okay, execute lang. Ayan, Sir Rafael.
Sir, tanong ko lang po dun sa sir, sa after po nung, di ba ng TAP po yung mga natutunan namin. Tapos yung system po, hindi po na ma-apply sa market ng PSC. Okay lang ba na mag-add ng market? Na, for
Okay.
example, mag-ano po ng US, makakatulong ba siya doon para mag-grow po yung mga natutunan or mas bibigat lang po yung yung task po? Ay, yung ano ko po, yung mga natutunan.
Sige, ganito. We all have different ways to spread ourselves as we learn something. So, some people, ang effective sa kanila is just to focus on one thing. Kasi yun yung parang, yun yung nature or yun yung inclination nila. For others naman, they would learn, they tend to learn something faster and better if they explore so many things or many things at the same time. So, ang first thing na kailangan mo tanungin sa sarili mo, sir, is saan ka sa dalawa? And you can use your historical experiences, your past experiences as a basis. So, kunwari, tandaan mo, nung alalahanin mo pala, nung college, how did you learn about something effectively? Was it through focusing on it, on that one thing alone? Or parang marami kang in-explore na sub-branches of that one thing? So, doon mo malalaman or doon ka magkaka-idea kung alin sa dalawang approach yung magiging effective sa'yo. Okay? Sa akin, if I might speak for myself, ang effective sa akin is just focus on one thing. Kaya alam niyo ba, since 2016 up to 2020, okay, more or less that's 4 years, 4.5 years, ESE lang yung market na tiningnan ko talaga for those 4 years. During 2018, if malala nyo, may crypto boom that time, right? Everyone was trading crypto. Yun yung time na sa Bitcoin, umabot siya ng 20,000 USD. Hindi ako nag-trade nun. Okay, bakit? Kasi alam ko sa sarili ko na if I do that, if I spread myself into two markets, yung progress ko na okay na sa PSE, ma-hamper siya or ma-apektuhan siya. So that's how I understand myself. Kaya hindi ko siya ginawa. Pero now na parang nakikita ko na parang I think okay na ako sa PSE and medyo patay din yung PSE lately, 'di ba? So meron naman akong oras, meron naman akong system and confident naman ako sa sarili ko. So that was the only time na I decided to explore other markets. So ganun sa akin. Sa inyo, it might be different. So you need to know ano yung effective sa inyo. Okay? Clear ba, sir?
Thank you po.
Okay.
Mm,
Sige.
Thank you po.
Meron pa? May follow-up pa? Or wala
Wala
na?
na po, sir. Unmute ka na po.
Sige, kanina parang may nag-unmute din. Baka may questions ano ba yun? Limutan ko yung name eh. Dami pala natin, 37. Okay, any other follow-up questions, guys? Na gusto nyong itanong para mapag-usapan natin? Para sa mga manonood ng recording na to, yan. So, meron pa silang mga additional inputs coming from you guys. Yan, wala na ba? How do you find our discussion tonight? Okay ba siya? Sayang wala si Ma'am Jessa dito. Hindi mo siya matatanong kung nasagot ko ba yung katanungan niya doon sa idea note. Okay, going once. Wala na? Wala nang hahabol? Question? Going twice? Ayan. So, I think okay na. Ayan. Si Liz ata, palakpak lang pala yan. Akala ko may question siya. Okay. So, I think that's it, guys, no, for tonight. Again, before we end, if you have ideas as to what to discuss sa Ask GFT, please, guys, go to our idea note. So, wala pa rin, konti lang talaga yung nagko-contribute ng questions. Maybe si Sir Julius can repost the link again. Ayan, nandito si Sir Julius. So, siya yung may gawa niyan. Kaya bigyan naman natin ng pansin para ma-utilize natin siya. So, any question, guys, na gusto nyong tanongin na for me, or para sa inyo, kaya kong i-discuss, or maybe I can invite other guests na pwedeng samahan ako to discuss those questions. Diba? So, malay nyo, yung mga questions na yan, these are things na never pa namin na-discuss in any of the courses or in any of the webinars or materials na meron tayo inside PR. Diba? Napaka-juicy nun, if ever ganun. Okay, so I think that's it for tonight. I'll not keep you long. So, good night and thank you for attending our Ask ZFT podcast. Thank you.